Okay, this is my attempt to show how we can use Squeak to learn OpenGL. I've already created a set of tutorials based on the NeHe tutorials found at the Game Dev website. So, I have a class called OGL Morph tutorial. I'm going to open it, or I'm going to create it first with 400 by 400 pixels. So we select to do it, and that does the first step. Notice nothing shows. Now we open in window, which means it's going to take the drawing area which is off screen and create a window for it and put it on screen in the window. So now we do it again, and there we have, this is tutorial number 5 from the NeHe tutorials. Now the fun thing about Smalltalk, and I've arranged this already, we could easily say switch to lesson 4 and do it. And sure enough, we're at lesson 4. Or we can switch back to lesson 5. From now on, I'm just going to put the cursor next to the line and do a Command or Control D, which automatically does it. Notice we're still at 4, so we go to 5, do it, we're back at 5. Alright, so let's move this out of the way and look at our actual code. Notice that OpenGL is drawn on top of everything. It's not a first-class citizen with the rest of Squeak. But if you're writing a game, you don't really care because everything's going to be done inside the game window. So let's resize things a little bit. This is the OpenGL Morph tutorial. It is actually a subclass of OpenGL Morph, which is a subclass of Morph, which is a subclass of Object, each of which has its own class methods and instance methods and everything else. So let's look at lesson 5, the lesson we're watching right now. So happens that lesson 5 is rotating the triangular pyramid by 1.5 every tick through. Let's, by the way, toggle it so we can see how fast it's going. Okay, it's going 50 frames per second, so every frame, as to say 1/50th of a second, it's adding 1.5. Oh, let's make it go twice as fast. Let's make it 2.5. And now we're going to save it, and since every loop through the method lesson 5 is called, when we save it, the new method lesson 5 is going to be called. And sure enough, it goes twice as fast. We can make it go 10 times as fast by changing that to 25 and saving again. So let's put it back to 2.5. And likewise, the square rotation angle we can make 10 times faster by changing it to a 10. Make it go in the other direction by changing to a plus, and so on. And in fact, any of the variables that have been set in this method could be changed on the fly. We could actually change this so that we would no longer have a green side for the triangle, or for the squares. We would have red, green, blue, so we would have, say, now halfway red as well as green and blue. And watch what happens when I save. Let's take out the red at all and save it. There we go. Now we can see a little better. Let's put the red back in. Okay, didn't quite understand what I wanted because I forgot a leading 0. Now we save it again, and there we go. Now it's red-green. And we can make it gray by making it 0.5 blue. And there we are. So you could see any one of these, vertex 1 with 1 with 1, etc. If we wanted to, we could change these vertices around. But I'm not going to bother because I don't understand. As you can see, it's completely interactive. If we wanted to, we could create a slider. Let's create a little slider. Call it my slider. My slider. Let's call it my slider. Colon equals my simple slider new. Do it. Okay, it's simple slider morph, excuse me. Simple slider morph new. Now we're going to open it in world. My slider open in world. And that will open a gray slider in the upper left hand corner. Now we're not actually going to hook it up, but you can see how we could. We would simply either use the built-in eToys methodology, which means to middle click and set the target. Site target. Okay, it's giving us a choice of system window, the world, which is a paste up morph, or the OpenGL tutorial. So we're going to give it the OpenGL tutorial. Now, it's sending a message to OpenGL tutorial, but there's no message for it to send to, so it's not sending it for real. We could create a message for it, but that's enough for today.